Good morning. Welcome back to Rooftop View Society. Here to bring you the second of the 3 skills I mentioned in the first video the other day when I walked through the metacognitive skill set with you of observing your thinking for 60 seconds. And if you proceeded with the next 60 seconds to jot down any of your observations, brilliant. I hope you gave yourself the chance to practice that at least once in the last couple of days. Seems like a simple or sort of doesn't amount to much kind of skill, but when we start connecting with our soul level strengths on a much deeper and more conscious level, and the negating karmic patterns that come up need us to observe them in a detached observer kind of way, the metacognitive observation skill comes in really handy to see how the pattern's been repeating itself. Patterns that you notice actually don't serve you anymore, but you can look at them far more detachedly in a very conscious way that transmits them. So I hope you give yourself a chance to practice that. Let's get into the second skill, which is inner strength. This is referring to how we extend our metacognitive observation skills, but in a way where we specifically start looking at how we self-sabotage, and in some unfortunate instances maybe self-destruct. So self-sabotage, let's give an easy example in the sense of, okay, I know I need to do my strength training today, and whilst in self-isolation, I'm doing that with my T-band. But you know, I'll find other things to do, and while it'll only take me 20 minutes, I won't do it. Something comes up or other things get prioritized and it doesn't get done. So that could be an example of self-sabotage, or perhaps eating foods that we know our body doesn't want anymore or doesn't work well with our system, or a step we might need to take for our business. It's a little scary and uncomfortable, and rather than take action on it, we go, okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. So little subtle self-sabotage ways that nobody else would necessarily know about, but as you get to know yourself a whole lot better, and I'm sure you know yourselves very well if you're watching this, you kind of know, I've just sabotaged myself there. So inner strength, the skill of inner strength, is now about starting to apply the detached observer to where you may be sabotaging yourself. And an exercise I'd like to leave you to consider for yourself is think back to a time in your life a few years ago where you really felt a deep regret, some sort of situation or event or a decision you made, an action you took perhaps, or even a decision or action you didn't take that in retrospect you thought, I regret not doing that. Think back for a moment, let it be a few years ago, because you'll have some time and space from it now so that you can apply more of your detached observer in practicing this inner strength skill. And given regret came up for you with that experience, observe and review for yourself, what exactly did you regret? If you could do that over, what would you have done differently? What decision might you have done differently? What action might you have taken differently? Try and get that down to, I didn't do this, or I did this and I know it wasn't right for me because. And by narrowing it to just that simple one sentence that you can really start to explore and get to the heart and the core of what that regret was about, helps you practice this skill of inner strength, where you can really start to kindly and compassionately with yourself have a look at where self-sabotage creeps in. We all do it. We're human. It's quite natural that this would come up. I have probably, I know I can say I can count my regrets on one hand because I keep so conscious, but I just feel it really hard when I make decisions that even, within a day or two, I'm like, oh boy, I really self-sabotaged myself. So I say I can count them on one hand, not because I'm, this magnificently conscious person that I don't have many regrets or make self-sabotaging decisions. I do. I most definitely do. I'm just stating that in look at the qualitative areas where you really felt a deep, deep core sense of regret that was really quite intrinsic to who you are at soul level, even if you might not describe it that way. So I hope that makes sense, that it's not about making a mistake. It's not about the many times that I could say, yep, stuff that one up. I'm definitely doing that different next time. I'm differentiating between mistakes and something that you just regret in your core. that are really quite qualitatively deep and intrinsic to you. So something in your past, 2 or 3 years ago at the least, where you can say, yeah, I really regret what I did or didn't do at that time. And you can now reflect with a little bit more of the detached observer, or apply the metacognitive skill to have a look at what exactly did you regret. That can give you some insight into some self-sabotage. I hope that makes sense. If there's any questions, by all means, feel free to drop a comment here or DM me. I'll be more than happy to address it, and enjoy doing your inner strength practice. Thank you.